So we're going to head over now to Virginia Beach, where police are searching for a man who's exposing himself to women. The man was last seen at the area of Lansdowne Commons Shopping Center, and he is linked to several incidents in the past few months. 13 News Now reporter Megan Puryear is live in Virginia Beach. And Megan, what are people saying about this whole thing?
Ashley, I've talked to several managers today. They're telling me that police told their employees to be extremely cautious when going and coming to work just during their shifts because of this suspect. Now, police tell us that this suspect is sitting in his vehicle and he's summoning women towards his car. As the women get closer to his car, he asks them for directions, and that's when he ends up exposing himself and performing a sexual act here in the parking lot. Now, police say there have been numerous reports of this over the past few months in the Lansdowne Commons shopping complex, but they're worried that other women may have been victims or not have reported what happened. Now, Marlon Bitanga is scared that this is just happening 10 minutes from her home.
I'm just kind of shocked because I always come here, so this is the first I've ever heard about someone exposing himself to women like that here, so it's weird. Usually, I would tell them, be like, hey, okay, it's over there, but I wouldn't necessarily follow them and be like, oh yeah, I would just kind of be cautious about it.
Stay with us on 13 News Now at 4 as we get more details on who this suspect is. Live in Virginia Beach, Megan Puryear, 13 News Now.